Tara, your Facebook question, that's a juicy one. You know, as an opera singer, you are an actor, and I don't particularly have to like Malzeitung, you know, but if I'm playing Malzeitung in an opera, or Stalin in another opera, or a nasty character, you know, I never have to agree or absorb too much of their personal politics. I mean, Malzeitung was one of the greatest mass murderers of our time, of the last 100 years, probably the most. But he also had this other side of the great leader for that nation. And all I see is, when I'm in that score that Mr. Adams has put together, I see him as, whilst a weak man in his body, extremely powerful and extremely strong in his mind, quick. I mean, he sets traps for Nixon and Kissinger everywhere, and sometimes they fall in, and he really does go to town on them. The third act of our opera here is very dreamlike. It's all the characters are sort of remembering their lives past. So there's only a snippet of politics in the role of Mao. But, you know, names like Nixon and Heath, de Gaulle, Taiwan, Vietnam, Green Berets, they're all in there. You could imagine that in 1972, Tara, when you know, Kissinger and Nixon are there, called into this very quickly set up meeting with Mao Zedong, and he wants it to be quite casual. Well, he says, this is Mao Zedong. Nixon wanted to talk about the issues, but Mao Zedong just said, no, leave that for the other guys, for my premier. But actually, Mao waits for the chance to pounce, and pounces. So it's very interesting to see this incredible leader. But personally, I don't like the guy. He's killed millions of people. The question is, do I feel like I'm a bad guy when I'm singing a bad guy's part? No, not at all. Those bad guys don't think they're bad. It's like the great parts in Lohengrin. Lohengrin, of course, the Knight with the Swan, yada, 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 but the baddies, Ortrud and Telramund, they honestly believe that they're in the right. Ortrud's a bit dodgy, but Telramund honestly believes that he's in the right, even though he is a baddie, but he doesn't think he's a baddie. Me as Mao Zedong, I am proud of who I am and what I am building and leading my country to. And that's the challenge as an actor. You want to not put too much gloss over your character to give a false impression to the people, to the audience. You want to show just a little snippet of his feelings, or at that particular time. So of course in Wagner, get to play guys who are heroes sometimes, and sometimes not such heroic things. So it's a lot more sort of obvious, I guess, who's the baddies. But I do love playing a bad guy. Unfortunately, in my Wagner world, I'm usually playing the hero, and you know, I catch the spear or grab the sword out of the tree and all that sort of stuff. But I quite like to play the characters. You can really juice it up a bit. It'd be fantastic. And Mao Zedong is one of those. It's fantastic. As a tenor, you often get the girls. In real life, the baritones do, but on stage, us tenors often get the girls. And I can tell you that to be on stage of, say, first act de Walküre, singing it, say, with fantastic soprano like Eva Maria Vesbrook, and that's one of the greatest joys out. Not just vocally, but acting-wise. And you get to make out with beautiful girls on stage. Of course, you are acting. And the Wagner loves that. I remember when I was at Juilliard and Manhattan School of Music, we learned stage kissing. How to kiss on stage, but not really kiss. That doesn't happen anymore. At all. When you kiss, you're kissing. You're actually in it, you know. And I've been kissed by some gorgeous broads on the stage of La Scala and the Met and Berlin and such. And it's just a great memory. But I'm a fan of rugby. And I know here in California we've got some great rugby fans too. And I think an opera of following one of the Rugby World Cups, and I don't know how to set it, but we've got a lot of opera singers who look like rugby players. I mean, me and Quinn Kelsey and Bo Gibson, who are all here singing at the Opera Company, we could easily be a front row. I think that would be a pretty cool opera. But slightly joking aside, you know, out of the last 100 years, the three biggest dudes who created the most havoc is Mao Zedong, Joseph Stalin, and Adolf Hitler. And two of those are sort of taboo. But it's interesting that Mao Zedong is not taboo, you know, and it's a possibility he was the worst. So I don't really understand what makes it taboo or not. But, you know, to get to play crazy dudes on stage, because we are actors, this would be a phenomenal thing, you know. And what a lovely question from Facebook. What took me so long to come back to San Francisco? I love San Francisco. Look, the life of an opera singer is that we wait with our managers for, you know, sometimes the phone to go, and they say, we'd like you to come back. And the greatest compliment, I guess, of being an opera singer is actually getting invited back to theatres and to symphony orchestras and such. You know, it's taken me 10 years to have the chance to come back here to San Francisco, and I would love it if I could, you know, be considered by the management here to come back every few years to do these fantastic roles like Mao Zedong, and of course I'd love to come here and sing some Wagner one time too. Yeah, it's an honour to be back in this great opera house.